and I want to say it again. Some matters are in the public domain already, which is the first tape. The one that Honorable Kofi Boa rested his submissions on and prompted the referral. That tape is what moved us to call Chief Bugri Nabu for authentication and also comments on the tape. Then he did what he was supposed to do. It turned out that there was another tape. And if you care to know, I will tell you, I have nothing to hide. And that other tape was furnished this committee by the lawyers of Chief Bugri Nabu. It will be a miscarriage of justice and an outrageous way of adduction of evidence to discard the second tape. I don't see how we as a committee can say that, no, we won't look at it. When the first tape, if you like, the original one, is being challenged by the individuals who are on the first tape. They say, no, there's more to the tape than we can see. And guess what? The one who said he taped furnishes the committee with the, if you like, the full tape. Council, would it sit with equity, good conscience, and law for this committee to say, well, there is an additional information associated and integral to the first tape, and we want to ignore it. But guess what? I want you to bear in mind that you have a world of opportunity to look at the second tape. And then how it affects your client, you will deal with it. And probably you will deal with it when we sit in camera, when you can look at some of the details properly. But at this stage, I do not see how anybody can say that this committee should not deal with the second tape, because we are on a journey of authenticity, which is part of our mandate. So in trying to authenticate the tape, we have found that, oh, the first one is not all that the tape is supposed to roll out, but there is additional conversations on the second tape. So I don't want to go more than this. Now, let me deal with the second issue of the necessity to let them sit in, the witnesses. There was no way we were going to call the IGP about some of the matters, because we didn't want to say that IGP has done something untoward. If you listen to the first tape, there's nothing the IGP did regarding the first tape. And therefore, to say that we should have brought the IGP in to sit while the others are testifying, with the greatest of respect, we're not called to common sense. Because the IGP had nothing on the tape, the first tape. It is rather the individuals on the first tape who made allegations against the IGP. A committee of parliament that want to respect the Audi Alterum Partem rule should invite the IGP, who the others are, if you like, accusing, to come and clear himself, so that you also have some space, as we are about to offer him, to deal with the preliminary issues, the beginning matters. That's what we're trying to do. They've said a lot of things against you, and they should sit in. You see, they are not going to say one word when the IGP is speaking. They are not going to their lawyers are not going to ask any questions. They have to listen to the voice of their boss. And then probably, when we retire in camera, then they will know. Now let's get the evidence out, properly speaking. You've made a point about the fact that how can somebody testify and later bring the, if you like, the substantiating evidence. You made that point clearly. Bear in mind that we have all been warned that what we are doing has national security implications. That's why if you heard me, I could checkmate my vice that please don't go there. I said this, some people were angry. That why are you trying to stop your vice from? Because this is a strategic listening and we need to be careful. That's why I could tell you right in your face, I wouldn't sit down here for anybody to be smeared the IGP and I'm enjoying it. No. If we got in camera and there's something that the whole country should hear, and they will hear it. So Council, I crave your indulgence that when they are outside, it will not affect the testimony of the IGP. It will affect it. And when they are here, it will not affect the IGP's testimony in any way, because they won't say one word. We are not going to permit them to say one word when the Inspector General of Police is speaking. It should end it. And then the wisdom of the committee will be that, look, we heard the IGP on, if you like, what has come into the public domain. Because some people were saying that, oh, the IGP should not speak in public. I am of the humble view, and I have the backing of the committee, that if matters about the IGP have been rolled out via this platform, then why don't you want to practice the audio or pattern rule to give the IGP the opportunity to respond to the initial issues? That's all. And after that, we accord him the respect and the respect of the other officers in a private in-camera situation for us to continue with the serious matters. Council, am I making sense? Or you think there are some other issues you want to say?
Mr. Chairman, you have made a lot of sense. You have made a lot of sense. But I also think I made a lot of sense. I also made a lot of sense. Mr. Chairman, what you have said is their presence here is inconsequential. Then why are they here?
Because,
we are adding
let me answer. Yes. You see, their presence here is very important for the subsequent work we are about to do. You get the point? And initially, there was no need for the IGP to be here. Please get my premise right. Because if you pay regard to the first tape, there was nothing that IGP has done. On the contrary, there is a congregation of men who are talking about him. So why invite the IGP? There was no point. But now that those men appeared before us, and they are saying certain things about the IGP, then it is consistent with the natural justice principle that the IGP should also make his initial, remarks, or if you like, say what he wants to say, either in confirmation or in rebuttal to what they've said, and then you go into the conclave to do what is necessary. But to say that they should go out when what the IGP is saying is not the end of the interrogation, because we are telling you, and we have to be very honest, we respect where the IGP is sitting. All of us, in fact, we are nervous because he is in charge of the internal security of the realm called Ghana. They don't toy with these matters. That is why, when it's all said and done, we'll know what to do as a committee to exact meaning, substance, and evidence off camera. And then we work with it and report to plenary. So this is what we are attempting to do. But I'm afraid they are sitting here is for their own benefit. The people seated here, for them to listen to what the Inspector General of Police will say, and then we continue with the interrogation. See? Because how would they also prepare for what we are all about to do? And what they said, we've given it to you, haven't we? We've given it to you. All that they said, we've given it to you. But we couldn't have brought the IGP here because the tape, it was not necessary that, it should come. So, Council, I think we should rest this matter. And then, Vice, you wanted to chip in or something? Yeah. And let the IGP, deal with some of the issues in a very, simple way and straightforward. And then we know what to do.
Yes. Honorable Chairman, my understanding of the objection raised is that it is an objection which raises questions of consistency. So the previous witnesses who appeared did that in the absence of the IGP. So counsel is saying that in good conscience and in fairness, why have we allowed the witnesses who previously appeared minus the IGP to sit in when it is his turn to take his stance and speak to the committee? Now, one thing that we must bear in mind is that all proceedings are public. It's a public hearing until we go out of, sight and out of view from the cameras. Well, that being the case, I want us to adopt a middle ground. But it cannot be said that the statement the IGP is going to make here would be coded in a manner that these witnesses cannot hear. If we were to ask them to go into the next office, there is a screen. They will have the benefit of hearing whatever the IGP would say. No, for the sake of consistency. So that now they are raising issues of equity, good conscience. It shouldn't appear as if, we are not extending the same treatment we offered the other witnesses to the IGP. So, on that score, I think that the witnesses here would lose nothing if we're to say, you know what, kindly recuse yourself, go into the next office, you can watch on the screens. If that would give them comfort, Chairman, I think we should proceed in that order in order to cure any possible perception that
there is no perception.
We are not extending the playing field to
there's
the
nothing,
parties who
there
appear
is
before
nothing
us.
like giving somebody an advantage. Because they should say that their presence here will not give them the space to testify. That's what he's saying. And I've given you a very good premise, that there was no issue of consistency of treatment when we started the interrogation, because we couldn't have called the IGP to come and sit in when we started, because nothing concerned the IGP. Guys, let's get it right. And I do not know the kind of disadvantage the IGP will suffer if the people are listening to him. What is the problem? There's no problem at all. They are not going to say one word. On the contrary, the one whose voice we hear is the IGP. There's no lawyer here who's going to stop the IGP in the middle of that when he was trying to tell us, if you like, the preliminary issues. And Council, I want to stress this. The preliminary issues that they said here, that we're giving him space to state his position as a preliminary matter. because he was not present when those allegations were made. And we want to be fair to the IGP and let the IGP dilate a bit on some of the things they said. But to invent another principle that there's an inconsistency in this matter is neither here nor there. Because it is not the people sitting here who determine what the IGP will say. So please, Council, if you want the IGP to speak, let him speak. If you don't want the IGP to speak, say so. But with this other argument that their presence is evidence of inconsistency, it's not borne out by what we've done here, the proceedings. Because who knew what was going to happen today? But for the fact that what they said, I sitting here as a chairman, I didn't know what they were going to say. So how can I invite the IGP in advance to come and sit when I didn't know what they were going to say? There's no member of this committee who knew what these individuals were going to say. In fact, we didn't even call, these individuals, we called Chief Bugri Nabu first. Is that not so? And then he said these were the individuals who were having, if you like, a tete-a-tete with. That is why we called them. I don't know whether my memory is messing me up, but when we called Chief Bugri Nabu, these individuals, were they here? They were not here. They are having a conference. Let them finish.
Mr. Chairman,
Council, what is your view? And I want to proceed. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I also want you to be able to proceed. All I am saying is, on the 17th, from you, your very self, Honorable Chairman, at page 4 of the report, the transcription, you said, so Bugri Nabu will open the floodgates. I think the IGP is mentioned, is he not? So he could be a potential witness. Note that. We would invite the police commissioner too. That's why I am saying it was not after the testimonies that you knew who to invite. Before the testimonies, you knew who you were going to invite. So at that point, you should have invited the IGP. As to who was a potential witness, it didn't come after the testimonies. It came in your first meeting, way before Bugri Nabu was called. And I am taking this from a report given to us by this committee. I'm not making anything up.
Can you tell this committee in a few words? I wouldn't want to have a banter with you. You know you can't do that. Listen to me carefully.
Yes.
Can you tell this committee the injury you will suffer if they are seated there? Then I take a decision. What injury are you going to suffer? I don't get it. What injury are you going to suffer so that we note it and take a decision? What injury are you going to suffer?
Now, Honorable Chairman, in the event that they stayed outside, what injury will they also suffer? And what injury will the committee also suffer?
See, the committee is not sitting only today. And please mark my words carefully. And I'm going to say it finally because you can waive your right not to speak. And I wouldn't worry my soul at all. These are going to be my final words to you. And I don't want to continue with the banter. I don't need it. You have an opportunity to speak. You see, these individuals and even the IGP are going to continue after here. We are not ending proceedings today. And some of the proceedings will be so important, it will be in camera. So therefore, it is relevant that they listen to what IG is saying, because the proceedings are not ending today. That is what it is. And the matters affect them. and the IG. It's like you saying that in the court of law, there's a plaintiff and the defendant. The defendant is testifying. The plaintiff should go out. I don't get the logic of it. So I will say more than this. I give the Inspector General of Police the opportunity to deal with the preliminary issues. And if he wants to do that, we will give him the space to do it. If he doesn't want to do that, I leave it to your judgment as a lawyer. That is all I will say for now. So, the Inspector General of Police, we want to commence the interrogation of the matter, and I might want to lead in some areas, and then we start.
Mr. Chairman, may I crave your indulgence once more? May we be guided by the ruling of the committee? Is this statement you just made the ruling of the committee, so that the records will reflect that this was the ruling of the committee?
Yes. You raised an objection and I overruled you. Yes. So that is it. I don't know what else you want me to say. And if you want me to overrule my advice, I will do that. Yes. Because you see, you've not satisfied me on one point, which is very, very interesting. Am I doing anything here which will prevent the head of the police service from putting the story across? None. I've not done anything untoward to prevent him from speaking. And I've said that there's no way, while the Inspector General of Police is speaking, any of the witnesses or their lawyers will interrupt. There will not going to be any public cross-examination or anything whatsoever. And their presence here should not hurt the flow of what the IGP will say. Inspector General of Police.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
The IGP is ready.
Okay. So.
Sorry, Chairman, before we proceed, I need to address certain issues. Chairman, with the greatest of respect, I think as a committee, it's important that we build consensus. I don't like it when I raise issues that I think are, clearly in tandem with practice and procedure, and to be told in the face by my chairman that if you're minded, I would overrule my vice chairman. I think the committee must learn to build consensus. If you overrule me, I call for a division. And then my position on the matter is captured on the record. So I don't like to hear statements like,
Chairman, I think Council has given indication that the IGP is ready, and we want to listen to him. I think that is what Ghanaians are waiting for. Thank you.
Inspector General of Police, have you had the benefit of listening to the audio tape?
Honorable Chair, thank you. And thank you to the members of the committee. I would like to say that, Honorable Chair, if you permit me, before I speak to that, I want to make a few opening remarks.
Sure.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, there have been a lot of issues about my person, and I would like to take the opportunity granted me today to speak to a few of them for about the next 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Honorable Chair, the first thing I want to speak to is my parentage, and it's important for a very good reason. I am a multi-ethnic Ghanaian, and the fundamentals is this. My father, Openi George Akosua Dampari, the mother comes from Achimwoso, or their ancestral home at Kwawua Sakraka. His father comes from Chebi, and his father comes from the village. I'm trying to put it together, I'm sorry. Begro. And my father's father comes from Begro, and his father comes from Okropon. My mother comes from the Siam. My mother's name is Agnes Siam, maiden name. She comes from the Siam family of Junarase, who migrated to live at Nkonya Ropon. So looking at me, that is the space of my parentage. I am a multi-ethnic Ghanaian, and that's why I'm passionate about Ghana. Now, in terms of my education, I didn't have the benefit of going to a secondary school, but by the grace of God and by the mentorship of many, as well as hard work, from a private studies for my O-level through to A-level, became a chartered accountant, and acquiring master's degrees, both of them with distinction, up to the level that I had my doctorate degree in finance and management, with multiple other professional qualifications that time will not permit. In terms of my policing career, Honorable Chair, I entered the police service with an O-level as a recruit, and by December this year, I will have been 33 years in the service. And it means that all my colleagues here today, in terms of who came to the police service first, I senior all of them. And in addition to that, within the 33 years that I have been a police officer, I've risen through the ranks to become Commissioner of Police, and later, His Excellency the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, honored me with the position of Inspector General of Police. Honorable Chair, my progression within the police service is this. I reported to training on 1st of December 1990. I completed training as a constable on 30th of August 1991. And from constable, within a period of 24 years, I became a commissioner, unprecedented. What is even more unprecedented is that from constable, 1991, within a period of a little over 6 years, from constable, I became a lieutenant of police. And that is the more unprecedented than becoming a commissioner within 24 years.
Who was the IGP when you became a superintendent?
Honorable Chair, I don't have that information readily, but if you will allow me to finish the opening remarks, and I will be ready to answer any question that can, so that I can flow. Thank you. I became a lieutenant in 1997. 1997, I became a lieutenant, and that was on the 1st of June 1997. So becoming a constable on 30th of August 1991, by 6 years and probably a few months, I became a lieutenant of police. And that is very unprecedented. And this is how it happened. When I joined the service and looked at all the policies within the service, I realized that there's a policy that encourages education, that if you attain a particular qualification, you get a particular rank. So I started off my A-level also by private studies, and I was able to get my A-level done. And as a result of that, on the 5th of April 1993, I was promoted to the rank of sergeant. That is 2 years after I became a constable. Then in the course of it, still learning and taking advantage of the policies that encourage education, I embarked on a professional course to become a chartered accountant. And I pursued the course, and at a point when I passed certain sessions of the course, which was within a year after I became a sergeant, I was promoted to Chief Inspector on the 1st of September 1994, which means a constable 1991, 2 years down the line, a sergeant 1993, and then roughly 1 year down the line, Chief Inspector 1994. Then I had a privilege, and also for the record, when I was at the depot as a constable, before I passed out as a constable, from recruit to constable, by the grace of God, I won all the awards, with the exception of one, which is mass match shooting. I had a privilege in 1995 to go to the police academy, then the police college. And there, at the end of the day, I became an ASP in 1996. And also the best cadet for the course. And also by divine providence, I won all the awards with the exception of marksmanship, which is shooting. Then thereafter, the same year, 1996, I became a chartered accountant. 1996, I became a chartered accountant. That is a course that I started and completed within a period of 2.5 years. So when I became a chartered accountant, then I made a submission to the police leadership on the basis of the existing police regulations on promotions. And they promoted me based on that qualification to Lieutenant of Police a little over a year after I have become an ASP. It means I'm one of the few people ever to be in the police service who never became a DSP, Deputy Lieutenant of Police, before becoming a lieutenant. So that is for the record. And what it means is that when I became a lieutenant, most of the senior people around, including my own big brother George, was an ASP. So from there, I became chief lieutenant after 6 years of being a lieutenant. And after that, and my chief lieutenant was on 1st of February 2003. That is from 1997, after 6 years or thereabout, I became a chief lieutenant. And from there, roughly another 4 years, I became Assistant Commissioner of Police. And another 4 years, I became Deputy Commissioner of Police. And roughly another 4 years, I became Commissioner of Police, which is the Commissioner of Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police 2006, Deputy Commissioner of Police 2010, Commissioner of Police 2014. What it means is that within police regulations, promotions are based on the number of years you serve, your competencies, your integrity, your character, and availability of vacancies. And looking at my promotions, beyond the miracle aspect of it, the rest of my promotions started following the normal course. And at times I did find myself, why was God not in it to help me to keep moving the way I have to move? So in terms of my qualifications, my ranking in the police service, it has been purely based on my competencies, my academic qualifications, and hard work because of the passion I have for the work. I have not, at any point in time, been called aside by any individual and granted me any favor that I do not deserve. Honorable Chair, in terms of positions I've held, I have been across virtually every command within the service. And at a point, because of my commitment to work, I was handling multiple schedules at the National Headquarters. Because if you give me a work, you just have to consider it done. Because that is me. I get things done, and I work around teams to get them done on the basis of Genesis 1:26, where I know God himself said, let us create, indicating that God being the originator of teamwork, you cannot do anything and function without teamwork. And that has been my style. So in all this, it got to a point I became the most senior Commissioner of Police. That is the next to the Inspector General of Police. And when that Inspector General of Police retired, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Adudanko Akufo-Addo, found me worthy to take that position and work together with my colleagues, together with all the other security agencies, to ensure peace, security, law, and order in this country of ours. So it is on this note that anytime I have the opportunity, I do say to Mr. President that forever, myself, my family, especially my wife and children, and my extended families which are dotted across the country, will be forever grateful to him for finding me worthy to occupy the position and working in concert with my colleagues in order to prosecute the agenda of the police in line with our constitutional mandate. Honorable Chair, let me speak briefly about my colleagues here. George is my big brother. JB is my kid brother. Asari is my brother. The beautiful thing is this, Honorable Chair. We've been together for far long. And my brother George, you know, his wife, since I joined the police today, I call her my mom. And that will never change. And JB, my brother, my kid brother, when I became the Inspector General of Police, I call you and offer you the position of Director Cybercrime. My brother Asari has already gone through the whole process at various places. And by the time I came, he was still at the position of where he is today. We will not have recourse to as to where precisely he wants to be. And this is how I have coexisted with all of them. And as you can see from behind, all my management teams are here, because that is how we do our things. Then, all of a sudden, this matter came up, and the matter was about finding out what has happened and who said what and where it came from. And my brothers were given opportunity to come and speak, and they did speak and made indication that yes, they are involved in what was happening. Then all of a sudden, instead of them to focus on that matter, they came out with wild allegations, Honorable Chair, with wild allegations that touch my person, the police leadership that I lead, and the entirety of the police service. Without, until today that I'm being told that now they have some evidence, without a shred of evidence. Honorable Chair, at the time that they were making it, without a shred of evidence. And Honorable Chair, those wide allegations without a shred of evidence has brought a lot of pain to myself, my family across the country, and especially my wife and children. That you are so patriotic because you believe in what you call pan-Ghanaianism, where you think that because of your multi-ethnic nature, everybody you see, as long as the person is a Ghanaian, is your brother or a sister, mother or father, uncle or auntie. Then the pain also to my command, my leaders, my team, that we work together, that we all know. And the pain to the thousands of police people who are appreciating the strides that we are making in transforming the organization to be the best institution in the country and a reference point for the rest of the world. They came, made all these allegations in order to cover up probably the shame associated with what they got themselves involved in the first place. And I, an innocent person, focusing on my job, working in concert with my team and all commands across the country to keep the country safe and make it to be at peace with itself. I've been asked to come and answer to these allegations, which are wide, baseless. And I feel in my spirit that this is just not fair. Abuja, it is just not fair. Are we killing patriotism? That anybody can just get up, make allegations upon allegations, and people who go across the country, at times 48 hours without sleep, just keeping the country at peace, will be called to come and answer allegations that are unfounded. And that becomes something. Anyway, I'm here. I have no choice. I have no choice and have come. And I say it to the glory of God, my Maker, who sustains me every day. I will speak to the matters as you direct. And I'm doing this because of the respect I have for myself, for my family, especially my children and wife, for the office that I occupy, for my brothers and sisters who are sitting behind me, that we have pulled ourselves together in an unprecedented manner in a teamwork to get these things done for this country, and for the respect I have for institutions of state, including the parliament that we are here today. And more importantly, the respect I have for Mr. President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, for the honor that he has done me for making me the Inspector General of Police to work with my colleagues. And equally more importantly, for the respect I have for the good people of this country. So, Honorable Chair, I am here being asked to answer to why allegations unsubstantiated by my brothers in order to cover up their shame. I am ready. I thank you.
You quoted the Bible, you know. And it seems to me you are a student of the Bible, are you?
I'm a Christian, and the Bible is my reference point. There could be a student of the Bible who may probably be using the Bible just for examination purposes, but may not necessarily be a Christian. But I'm Christian, and my reference point in terms of what guides me is the Bible and the Spirit of God. Thank you.
Did you ever find in the Bible that the innocents suffered? The man who claims he's innocent suffered. Have you heard it before in the Bible? Did you read it?
Honorable Chair, I am a Christian who understands that. And that is the case.
That is why I'm a bit surprised that you're complaining about maybe you doing a good job and you're going through some challenges and suffering, because we know that the innocent can suffer. That's the story of Joseph. Never slept with Potiphar's wife, but went to jail. Have you heard this tree adage that Onipa Kesiye na Asem Tono? Have you heard it before?
Honorable Chair, I have. But the point I'm trying to make is the fact that we are all human beings. And at times, these things happen. You may have all what it takes to handle the situation. But when you are speaking to a matter and the feeling of how you feel comes on board, it's normal. And the most important thing is that I understand all the issues you are raising. And I'm in sync with it because I'm a true Christian.
Now, Inspector General of Police, do you have a working relationship with Chief Bugre Nabu?
Honorable Chair, I do not have a working relationship with him.
Inspector General of Police, if somebody alleged against you that you are the architect of the first video or the video, you in cahoots with Chief Bugre Nabu, got this individual state, what will be your response to that, sir?
Honorable Chair, that is untrue.
Inspector General of Police, it seems to me every serious police officer would want to be an IGP. That's natural, is it not?
Honorable Chair, that is the case.
And it is equally the case that when there is a vacancy relating to such a high and powerful office, and individuals are aware of the appointor of that high office, there will be attempts to, get to the appointor, so somebody is appointed. Is that not so?
Honorable Chair, that could be the case, in the sense that human beings are different. There will be somebody who will be going around to do that, and others too who may know that based on the quality they have, they may be contacted and assessed for the position. And even those who will go around to be doing that, there may be variance involved in the extent that they go. Thank you.
Did you pay regard to the statement of Honorable Kofi Boa, the MP for Elembele? The statement he made on the House floor, did you pay regard to that?
Honorable Chair, I have cited it and I have a fair idea what it contains.
Yes. You know, there's a very serious allegation to the effect that you are the most powerful person in the realm, according to the statement that was said on the House floor, to determine the outcomes of elections. What's your response to that?
Honorable Chair, I thank you for the question. Honorable Chair, the most important thing is this. Election involves so many stakeholders, and each one
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful Endpoint one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na mkwan point no mo hwe me modem no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra mienu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko Endpoint omama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's Endpoint for you.
Of Acrobato.
Hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what che?
Okay.
A free bra wo di Endpoint wa dance. I me call you no. Me just say my name koye and person na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me be fear for there
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch homeopathic clinic.
Get ready for another cultural explosion like never before. On 21st September, Africa will witness an ultimate celebration of African diversity and flavor at the 3FM Afro Connect event. This is the place to experience the magic of African arts and creativity. You also get to unite in a sizzling jollof war competition, igniting a culinary showdown. Will Cote d'Ivoire hold the jollof war title? So whether you're passionate about food, art, games, or simply making new connections, 3FM Afro Connect event on the 21st of September is the place to be. Venue, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. To sell, call 053-220-0927. 3FM Afro Connect, connecting Africa and beyond.
Brought to you by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. The 3FM Afro Connect is proudly sponsored by...
Who wins the Ultimate Energy Personality of the Year at the 7th edition of your prestigious Ghana Energy Awards? Under the theme, Ghana's Energy Transition Framework, sector institutions as building block for the 2030 to 2040 target. You can nominate yourself or an institution for categories such as CEO of the Year, Energy Investment Impact Award, Energy Signature Award, Endorsement, Validation, Industry Partners, Media Partners. TV3 Ghana Energy Awards, 7 years of redefining excellence.
When the sun rises, there is hope. While this hope lingers on, the citizens look up to the government, the economy, the national development agenda, and everything in between.
On Ghana Tonight, it's our utmost priority to bring you insightful conversations on the economy, break down the biggest issues while setting the agenda for transformation and national development. The big and important stories are treated from the human interest angle, while the facts and the figures are painted with precision. So now, let's cut the convention and start the conversation here on Ghana Tonight. I am your host, Alfred Okamsi.
Ghana Tonight shows Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
The age-old rivalry that senior high schools engage in is still present within alumni. The battle for bragging rights to a particular endeavor remains even after school. If your school can cook, it means your school is here. If your school can boast of good culinary masterminds, this right here is the perfect platform to showcase that skill set. Alumni have met and they have chosen representatives to take up the task of preparing extraordinary dishes to bring victory to their respective schools.
Tell me what you're cooking.
Week in, week out, these schools will mount these workstations in a bid to buy your nutritional affinity to them. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your taste buds and fasten your aprons. These culinary